Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja Abarera Legos Ram
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Apocrypha, the Occult podcast. You guys know what it is. You know what time it is.
What time is it?
It's bat time. I don't know.
We're live.
So, uh, hopefully, I do hope that everyone liked the new intro, the new logo that you can see below Mystic and myself. Um, I wanted to go with something, I don't know, a little bit more reserved, I think, as far as kind of visuals are concerned. I still really love the other logo, and it's still very much an Apocrypha logo, but me being a designer, I kind of change designs more than I change my underwear, so, you know.
Aware.
So, the logo doesn't necessarily change the the content. Actually, no, it definitely doesn't change the content. It's the same content. It's just I like this, you know.
Very much.
So, and like the little group of witches that are doing like their little ritual and the skull coming
Hello,
out of the
hello.
fire and stuff. So that for those that don't know, that is actually a I don't want to say traditional, but it is a actual image that's found in a book, obviously talking against witchcraft, which so I thought it would be ironic to use it as an aspect of the logo. Um, you know, we love the irony here, right? We love the irony.
Nah.
So, um, but it's one of my favorite images, honestly. And when I put it together with that typography, that font, and everything, I was like, yeah, that's great. I kind of wanted to. So the two TV shows that it's kind of modeled off of, which inspired it, I should say, would be Salem, the TV show, and A Witch's Tale. So it's kind of inspired by those two things. They have similar logos. Like, I mean, I guess not necessarily similar, but the energy that you get from looking at it, you know, has a similar vibe to it. So, yeah, Salem was a good show, even though it really didn't follow anything historically. Like, it was still fun to watch. So I really wanted to do like a Fallout watch party with all of you, but I binged watched that fucking show in one day.
I'm not touching it until we get a chance to like do the whole thing.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
I have not. I'm waiting for very specific people and persons to do some watching and discussions. You know, like I am a true Fallout fan, but I think I mentioned it before. Like my
Yeah.
entire game room, it's Fallout yellow with blue Fallout shelves and Fallout memorabilia everywhere.
Yep.
So
Did you
I'm
know
a nut.
that NZXT makes a Fallout case for PCs? A Fallout PC case?
I did, and I don't have it because it's expensive.
Yeah, it's a $250 case. No,
Yeah,
300.
I
It's a
have one
$300
right
case.
Free, yeah, for 300. It's insane.
Anybody in the PC world, that's a lot of fucking money for a case. I mean, the case that I currently have.
Yeah, if I build a new computer, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But
that's what I did. I went all new parts. I even changed out the case. I mean, I went NZXT this time around, and I waited for a deal, right? And I still spent like, I think $80 on this case. I got it the NZXT H5 Flow, and even at $80 for me, that is an expensive as fuck case, and that's with a discount because its normal price is like $94. Like that's a lot of money for a case. So, Mystic, what big decks do you have for us, good sir? Murder of Crows. You know, I read somewhere why they called them a Murder of Crows, and I forgot what it is. So I read that they called them a Murder of Crows because apparently crows actually hold grudges.
they do.
And, like, all
And
of them will attack you.
Yes, even with humans, if they think that you're a bad person, they will group up and gang up against you, and they will not forget that you are a bad person.
Yeah. So apparently that's why they call them a murder of crows, because those motherfuckers will murder you.
They will murder your face.
Literally.
So I've never used this. Yeah, I've never used this deck on stream before, but it is it's a neat deck.
Did you say
This
it's a
is
tweed
it's
deck?
one of those. It's a neat deck.
Oh, I thought you said it's a
It's-
tweed deck. I was like, what?
It's it's not one of it's a smaller card size, which I like. Very easy to shuffle. It's a reversible
Oh,
back.
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, they're gloss. They're nice cards. They're monotone, which I also have a big. I like monotone cards. But let's see what we get. I'll pull some energy and see how things have been going, and see if the energy that we pull matches how things have been feeling.
Let's see what happens.
Rookie. Oh yay! All the old people riding the picture bikes. They do it every Saturday or Friday.
Oh,
right.
I think I saw somebody getting pulled by fucking dogs.
You might. Oh, there's a couple of recumbents. They're all lit up.
Is that the moon
right.
behind you? What the fuck is that?
That is the moon behind me.
Nice. All right.
Look at
Rock
that.
on.
You see the moon? Yeah, that is too cool. Let's see what the Murder of Crows says, right? With the moon.
Y'all motherfuckers gonna die. That's what it says.
Well, it says Ace of Swords, which is not all y'all motherfuckers gonna die. Let's pull our other cards first, though. Seven of Pentacles.
I love that artwork, man.
I'll show them back up too when we get to it.
Yeah.
The Fool. All right, so we've got two minors and a major, and what we have is kind of like we have an ace, right, which is the beginning of a suit. We have the Fool, which is the beginning of the major arcana, and then we have a seven, which is kind of like this. I call sevens often people say fives are strife, but sevens are also kind of have a strifeness to them. But we'll talk about that. So your One of Swords here. Our energy that we're doing is mind. It's cerebral.
Okay.
So as we go into the next week, this weekend, next week, these are things that we need to be really thoughtful, critical of, paying attention to details and moving through things that are so specific that we're really paying attention to what's happening. Oftentimes for me, like an ace, well, all the aces to me can represent any card because they are the true embodiment of all of that energy. Like not just that it's the beginning, but it's everything. It's the raw version, the formed version. So when you have an Ace of Swords, it's this whole idea of how thinking and being cerebral and mindful affects everything we do. So our energy is going to need to be focused. It's going to need to be directed. If you don't direct your energy next week, you're going to miss a lot of shit, and you're going to really wish that you had. The Seven of Pentacles, like I said, this can be, for me, a little bit of this strife card, because the next card for me is the Masterwork. So Eight of Pentacles represents Masterwork. So the Seven is like, oh God, I need to go back and fix something. This has gotten really hard. I've gotten in the weeds. I've been looking at things all wrong. So we're going to have a feeling while we're in cerebral, right, that we're also stuck in the minutia. What does that do? That creates worry, creates anxiety. So if you're not careful next week of focusing your energy, you're going to feel an incredible amount of anxiety coming on, an incredible amount of difficulty processing forward on things. But if you do control it, and you are managing it, and you do recognize it, and you let it pass, and you focus your energy, then we're going to end up going on a new journey on the stuff that we're learning. So we're going to have that new thing happen. We'll be able to successfully take the leap of faith, but only if we take that ace energy, that swords energy, and make it work for us, make it focus in, make it pull all those anxieties away from us, and actually get what we're trying to do. This is going to be a very good week for detailing projects. So if you're working on a big project, this is the week to write the chapter that you're missing. This is the week to work on the mathematical equation that you need to work on. It's the week to whatever you do, it's the week to do that thing and do the laser focused version of it, and don't let anything else come up and pull you out. Because if you do, you'll fade it out. And that is for the next week.
There you go. There you go.
From the Murder of Crows.
Love that artwork.
Yeah, it's really good.
You want to show off some of the other major arcana there?
Yeah, sure. We got Wheel of Fortune.
Not.
Which I actually really
like
like.
that. That's nice.
Look at the Nine of Wands.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh, we already did the Fool. Ooh, Tower.
Interesting. Interesting take on the tower.
Oh, I love the Crow Tarot. There's a couple different Crow Tarots actually. MJ Cullinane does one that I really like. It's probably the one you're talking about. That's one that most people are familiar with. But they're beautiful. I love them. But that's it.
All right, rock on. So
I think there's like 4 or 5 Crow decks actually, if I can remember correctly. Rook should know some of them.
are we saying crow
Crow
like the
deck.
bird or crow like the movie?
Crow like the bird.
There should
Crows, ravens, corvids.
is there the crow, like a tarot deck of the crow? I think there should be.
I don't know. I'm not touching that.
Oh, okay. Okay, here's a question for you. You must have seen the trailer for it. What do you think of the Crow remake trailer?
I have not seen the trailer for it, but I had seen the hype around it. I don't know. Like a lot of people get really pissy about remakes. I'm not one of those people. Sometimes remakes are good, sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, but they're usually okay if you go into it thinking it's a different movie. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
like seeing the different adaptations of them.
Yep.
So I don't get as all bent out of shape as some people do.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I will always say that I think Queen of the Damned was actually a good movie. Like I don't compare it to like the book, you know?
Same thing. Yeah. I will say this. I hate watching a movie and then reading the book. I
Right.
can't that's hard for me. But also I've been reading a book and I'm like 7 books, 7 novels in, thousands and thousands of pages, hours of reading.
Uh-huh.
I think I read it's The Expanse. I've never seen the show, but there's a show that goes with it. And I saw the cover of one of the artwork for one of the DVDs. I'm like, these are not the fucking people that are playing in my version of The Expanse. This is all wrong.
Right.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I never Skarsgård is a decent actor though. Yeah, I mean, Skarsgård is definitely a decent actor. There is just something. So even though The Crow, the movie, isn't like occult based, really. When I was a kid and I watched the Brandon Lee's, The Crow, right? It definitely had that mystical element to it though. You know what I mean? Like it definitely had that attraction to darkness where, yeah, exactly. There is inspiration in it from folklore and mythology. And the one thing that I didn't like about the trailer for the new one is I feel like they lost touch with that aspect of it. I feel like a lot of movies from before that had that touch to it, that kind of haunting, mystical sense to it, when they're getting remade, it's losing that sense. Right? Like in the remake, like they're focusing more on the action, they're focusing more on special effects and not so much the actual story. That's where my problem comes in.
See, I like that because that reminds me that it's two different movies. The Queen of the Damned, or just as an example, or The Crow. That movie is still that movie with that feeling. This movie is this movie with this feeling. They're different. That makes me feel better than if I feel like they're trying to redo what they already did, because you just can't.
Fucking there's a remake of The Crow? Yeah, they're doing a remake.
They're doing a remake of The Crow. But I mean, seriously, like it's just like anything else. You go into it not expecting it as, like, they call it a remake, but it's just a new movie. Because to a lot of people, it's gonna be, right.
Yeah.
A lot of people who've never seen the original, they're gonna say, "Oh, this is a great action movie." I'm like, "Oh, it's a great psycho thriller to me." Like, they just have different purposes, you know.
I agree with that. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to watch it. I'm not saying that I'm not going to enjoy it, because I am going to go watch it when it does come out. I definitely am. You know, it's. I feel like the hate that a lot of people are throwing around about it is very trivial. I mean, you know, they're bitching about Skarsgård's nipple tattoo. You know, that's like, that was like their biggest focus. Like when, like, there's a still image that came out of him, like standing in the mirror with the trench coat and shit. That was like their focal point, was the nipple tattoo. And it's like, dude, it's a fucking nipple tattoo. Like, because Brandon Lee didn't have a nipple tattoo doesn't mean that they can't have one. You know, it's like,
yeah.
I mean, I personally would never get a nipple tattoo, but it hurt too fucking much.
I'll never get one, but not because I don't want one, because I'm just too much of a pussy for it.
Exactly.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that either. Same reason I would never get a Prince Albert. Just saying that hurts. Like there's pain that comes with that word, knowing what it is.
I can't say anyway. Yep.
You know, it's like, it's never gonna happen.
Or maybe it already has.
Right, exactly. So, and this is a great segue into kind of what I want to talk about today. It is, because we're talking. It is, right?
Yeah.
So, for those of you that do pay attention to the channel, you know that I did another video on Melinda, right? Like, at this point, I think she's just a fucking channel fixture, because she just makes it easy, right? So, and I tried my hardest not to make another video. She did a video, so the one that I reacted to was her comments on Kat Von D. She had done another video very similar to that in regards to Tom MacDonald. Now, regardless of whether or not you like or you dislike Tom MacDonald's music, I mean, I personally do. I mean, I like hip hop and stuff like that. And I do like a lot of, you know, Tom MacDonald stuff. Not everything, but, you know, a lot of it. And so she just kind of had this, you know, time period here where she's just kind of attacking people, at least these two individuals, Tom MacDonald and Kat Von D, because of their clothing. So Kat Von D is kind of an easier subject to touch on, because I honestly don't know what the fuck Tom MacDonald's spiritual beliefs are, nor do I really give a shit, you know, to be quite honest. But with Kat Von D recently denounced paganism and witchcraft and completely kind of converted over and got baptized as a Christian. Do I agree with that decision? I guess it doesn't really matter if I agree with that decision or not, right? You know, it's sad to see, you know, a beloved member of the occult kind of exit, you know, stage left here, but, you know, everyone's on a different path, you know.
Sorry, Evoluge, Belinda the Rainbow Sandwich. I don't know why. That was good. It hit me at the right way. That was good. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. You know, so it is sad to see somebody that, you know, is beloved in the occult, you know, as an occult member and looked up to as, you know, a successful, you know, pagan, you know, a successful occultist. Not necessarily successful as an occultist, but successful in her life as an occultist, right?
And as an occultist.
And as an occultist. And it's something that, a lot of people, a lot of young people, in the occult, I know that a lot of young people getting into the occult look for that, right? They look for, people that have created a successful lifestyle in a positive way, in the occult. And, Kat Von D was definitely one of those for us for a very long time. And so she denounced witchcraft and paganism and all of these things and got baptized as a Christian. And, she's happy with her decision and she feels that she's fulfilling her path, in life. Then, so be it. It's her path, no one else's. The thing that really irked me when it came to Melinda's 2 videos is that her entire basis for calling these 2 people liars, scammers, and untrue Christians was because of their clothing. And if you watch the video, so we'll get more into this a little bit later, but if you watch the video, there's a particular point, 1, because of YouTube guidelines, I had to block it out, and 2, I don't want to add on to what Melinda's doing, consciously doing that's wrong here. But she had the audacity to bring somebody's kids into her video, right? So she brought up videos and pictures of Kat Von D's son. And as a father, that's just something you don't do. Like, you want to hate on people, you want to, have your opinion, which has absolutely no logical fucking basis. That's fine. You don't bring someone's kids into this shit.
Like, why don't you just, to me, it's as simple as saying, I think people who dress that way look stupid.
End of story. Yeah.
That's the end of story. Opinion. Great. What does that have to do with, maybe you feel that she's being fraudulent. That's an opinion you can share and talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you have something to think that. I don't. I have 0 thoughts on it. It's not my thing to agree or disagree with what Kat Von D or whoever does. I really don't give a shit. But I do give a shit when somebody like Melinda goes in and makes it this big thing based off of something that's just not even. It's almost like she's being a bully vicariously through other groups of people.
Yeah,
so that she doesn't have to be the bully, and that makes me mad.
Exactly. And I tried. I honestly tried not to respond. I wanted to respond to the Tom McDonald one. I ignored it. Right. I figured that, like, the Tom McDonald fans, if anybody knows anything about Tom McDonald fans are fucking vicious. Right. And so she was looking for clout by using Tom McDonald's name. Like, she picked the wrong fucking person, because those motherfuckers will rip her apart. So I was like, I'll just let the Tom McDonald fans do what they got to do.
Just need to move on from Ghost Hunter, dude. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because he wouldn't have anything to do with her, right? She was so far up his ass, like, you didn't know where he started and she ended. And then he, like, just completely dropped her, like bitch, like, back the fuck off. And then all of a sudden, now he's a Satanist.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. Zach Baggins. Yep, that's it.
Zach, yep. Thank you.
So it's just one of those things. But, I didn't get to the part in the video that I wanted to talk. I did mention it. But I didn't get to that part in recording the video because I just couldn't do anymore. Like, I honestly couldn't watch it anymore because I was just getting so irritated. But there was a part in the video where she starts complaining and bitching about Kat Von D's bathroom. Right, so Kat Von D has this bathroom in her house that's all red and has, Gothic architecture throughout the whole thing, Gothic architecture accents throughout the whole thing. And the thing was, the point that I made on
started about Gothic architecture, but go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is what I found absolutely hilarious about her saying that was satanic. It's like, dumbass. Gothic architecture started with fucking Christians.
That's what I was going to say. That was the meeting of the two is what caused that to exist.
Exactly. So it's like, you're going to sit there and say that that's satanic, but that whole concept with the fucking arching windows and the gargoyles and stuff like that was invented by Christians. You know, or not necessarily invented, but was used and popularized by Christian, you know, structures, churches, cathedrals. And so, like, that just blew me, like, threw me for a loop.
And a lot of it, they did that to keep, I did a study on it at one point because of the Green Man. They did that, a lot of that architecture, they blended it together, and what you got was the really gothic shit, was that trying to keep the pagan stuff into the Christian church so that you couldn't even identify it.
Yep.
They did not do a good job.
No.
Or they did a really good job. One of the both.
Yeah, one or the other, right? Or maybe both of them. I don't know. But, you know, and the thing with Tom MacDonald and, you know, Blackcraft Cult, because everything you saw Tom MacDonald in was Blackcraft Cult, right? And so this is another thing that always irritates me about Melinda, is that you can tell that she doesn't do her research before she opens her mouth. Now, I'm a mediocre fan of Tom MacDonald. Like, I am not a diehard fan of any kind. But even I know that Tom MacDonald used to be a wrestler. And Blackcraft Cult, their biggest niche is wrestling. So when I see Tom MacDonald donned in fucking Blackcraft Cult, my first thought isn't, oh, he's a Satanist because it has a pentagram on it. It's, okay, there must be some type of association, right, between them for the wrestling. Also, guess what? People just think this shit is cool. My dad was a huge fan of fantasy. The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, you know, all of that shit. So in my house growing up, there were dragons and fairies and gargoyles all over the fucking place in my house growing up. And my dad was a diehard Catholic. Right? And one of the biggest things that bothers me about this is that judgmental attitude about the way that somebody looks. I can honestly say that when it comes to witchcraft, when it comes to the occult, yes, there are people that it goes hand in hand, right? There are occultists and they like to wear black. But guess what? There's also occultists that dress like fucking hippies, right? In equal measure. Okay? Just because you wear something doesn't mean you are something. Right? And it really doesn't move. Kat Von D, I mean, she's a tattoo artist, for fuck's sake. Her entire career is built on the weird and the strange. Oh, and then the other fun thing. Apparently, Kat Von D, like, a lot of the occult tattoos that she had on her body, she got covered up with a blackout tattoo. According to Melinda, she did that because of a demonic influence, because demons have black skin. According to Melinda.
Oh boy.
And then she's like, well, why couldn't she just do laser surgery and get him removed? It's like, okay, you're talking about an entire body of tattoos. Do you realize how many procedures she would have to go through to get those removed correctly? And then even at that, it still wouldn't cover it up. They wouldn't disappear. You would still be able to tell exactly what was there because of how the laser works. So the point is not Melinda, because it's not just Melinda that does this. Me growing up, there was always someone that passed judgment on myself or other people simply because of how they looked. Simply because of how they dressed. And unfortunately, I believe that Tom MacDonald and Kat Von D are very strong personalities and, you know, hopefully they have good mental health, right? And they have thick skin, right? And I don't think that a comment from fucking Melinda, the mystic motherfucking witch, is going to put them over the edge anytime soon. But the point is, one day she's going to do it to somebody that will. Or people like her are going to do that to somebody that it is going to push them over the edge. It is going to make them say, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I can't do this. And that's where my irritation comes in. So this is occult adjacent because we're talking about someone or two people that are ones we know is definitely no longer an occultist, and Tom McDonald I don't think ever was an occultist. But more Melinda, the pseudo witch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and my commentary on this is to point out that just because somebody dresses a certain way, you shouldn't be passing judgment on that person and assuming that they are something just because of how they look or the clothing that they're wearing. Because I know many people that have nothing to do with the occult and they love the Gothic style. I mean, how big is that thing been recently where fans of bands are getting pissed off because people are wearing band shirts without even knowing what the fuck the band is? Who gives a shit? It's free fucking advertising.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. Even if they don't know what the band
crazy.
is. You know, because of that, I think is that one Depeche Mode shirt or whatever that has that weird kind of like sine wave or whatever. I think it's Depeche Mode. And nobody knows. Most of the people who are wearing is like, Depeche who? Because it doesn't say Depeche Mode on it. It just...
I mean, I like my Depeche Mode.
So, you know, clothing is clothing. And one thing I've always said, it should be fun. You should have fun with what you're wearing, right? Never fall into somebody else's judgments. I'm sorry I've not let you speak here, Mystic. Well, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot to say, but my thought is all that is accurate and true, yeah. The thing that bothers me the most is Melinda has a platform with which to do this, and people think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that, sure, any batshit crazy person can go out and give their opinion, and I'm going to judge you for it. I'm going to make fun of you for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can make fun of me for mine. That's okay. But when you make fun of an entire group of people you don't know because of that one thing, like, you can judge me for my shirt. Hey, you look like an idiot. Oh, great. Okay. You're ugly. Yeah. Whatever. You know, and do that. But when you have a platform and a lot of people are paying attention to you, and the best content that you can get is to spend as much energy as you can to degrade somebody else based on things like that.
Yep.
The first thing I hear is, this is what I actually hear, and I haven't seen the videos, by the way, or yours. But in this situation, and knowing what she's put out before, what I hear is, I have such low confidence in who I am and what I'm about that I don't know how to build myself up. So I need to bring you all down below me. And if I bring these people down below me and you guys agree with it, then I can be up here.
Yep.
And it makes me sad because
it is
you
sad.
Listen to her, like the background of her content, she can really put some stuff into good use.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, she chooses to do stuff like this, which is like, you know what? There will always be those people. That's always going to be there. She will always have it. It's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that more and more people realize that it is schoolyard bullying, is what it is.
Well,
and
one of the things I've noticed,
it's irritating.
You know, so one thing I actually was curious about is I was wondering for the longest time, ever since I started making, because like I had no platform at all when I did the first video on her, right? John Ramirez, I've done videos on him as well. He's horrible. He's violent.
There was the one lady that was way like worse than all of them put together. Like John Ramirez, though, he's unfortunate. He's got psychiatric.
Yeah, he's got issues. Like you can tell. Yeah. Like I mean, he believes half of the shit that he's saying.
Some pathology there.
Yeah, you know. But one of the things that, you know, I was wondering for the longest time, because when I did my first reaction to Melinda, I mean, I just saw the content for what it was and the misinformation that was in it, and wanted to make a comment on it because I saw how many people were watching this and believing the shit that she was saying. I was like, wait, what? Like, I mean,
they don't just believe it; they worship it. Oh my God, you are the best thing that's ever happened. I was,
Exactly.
oh my god, come on! This is like the freaking Apple versus Android shit. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
No,
pick the one you
definitely.
like.
But so I caught a video from somebody else. So apparently Melinda did a video on Hecate, right? And I guess Hecate to her is some type of evil demonic thing, you know, whatever. Um, and in the beginning of the video, this young woman that made this video, I actually put it in the community section. So if you're curious about, you know, what video I'm talking about, go to the community section. It's there. You know, go support that creator. I don't know her. I mean, I've never seen any of her other videos, but you know, she felt so compelled about this video that Melinda made that she made a response to it, like almost an hour-long response. And one of the first things that she said, yes, curse. One of the first things she said at the very beginning of the video is that she was terrified to make a response to Melinda because of how big her following is. And it clicked in my head. One of the reasons why so many creators that notice that the shit that she does is wrong and incorrect, one of the reasons why so many creators don't respond is because they are terrified of her following. Because they see how worshipped she is in the comments.
They get vicious.
Yeah, that she's got 50,000 something subscribers to her channel, you know, and they don't want the smoke. They just don't want it. And for me, I didn't give a shit. Like I didn't care. Like I saw something. I saw this incorrect information, and I felt like there needed to be a response to it, and I responded. And I have been responding ever since because I feel like somebody has to. Because one of the things I've noticed about Melinda is, and I will give her credit for this, she is a great businesswoman. She knows what she's doing to sell her snake oil. And she sells it well.
I want to read her books just to do a review, but I refuse to spend money on it.
Same. I would love to get a hold of it like in PDF format or something and read it and comment on it, but I will not give her my money. I will not give her my money. But that's one of the reasons why I keep doing it. And also, for some reason, you guys fucking love it when I do videos on this dumbass. So I just do it. You know, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, she keeps growing. And the reason I give her credit as a businesswoman is because her channel, it keeps growing. It keeps getting bigger, you know? And so that's kind of one of those things that's kind of, you know, terrifying. You know, that whatever she's doing is working and she keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yep.
Because I speak for the majority. I speak for me, right? I would not put myself in the place to say that I speak for anyone else other than myself. If other people can relate to what I'm saying and agree with it, then so be it. But I will never, ever, under any circumstances, ever say that I speak for anyone else. For example, a simple, direct example. I will never speak on behalf of the LGBTQIA community. Why? Because I'm not a part of it. Am I an ally? Yeah, but I'm still not part of it. And I will never speak on behalf of that community because I don't know the first fucking thing that Mystic has had to deal with in his entire life being gay. I don't know.
I don't think anybody wants anybody to speak for them, even as a group. Everybody just wants like to speak about things and have discussions and be open and join up and think about things, talk about shit, not put out content that specifically says, "Oh, I hate your head, hope you die." You know,
Oh no, having a
it's just dumb.
conversation about something and speaking for someone or speaking for a group is different, right? I think anyone
Yeah,
can have
that's
a
what I'm saying.
conversation about something, right? I can have a
We,
conversation about being gay even though I'm not. But from
right.
my
It's
perspective,
speaking. It's like I never really understood the whole speaking on behalf of, because that's just not to me. It's not even a real. It's one of those agree to disagree things, right? It doesn't exist. Okay, what y'all say? It doesn't exist. Agree to disagree means disagree. It just means we disagree. We're just not going to argue about it because we can do that. We're allowed to disagree.
yep.
Um, and I mean, we make it funny, but the point of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you're speaking on behalf. Like, there's 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 never a need to speak on behalf of somebody, but there's always or often a need to speak in support of somebody, or to offer the ability to have a voice that at least gets a conversation going. You know, I don't expect it. I don't speak on behalf of the occult. I think I'm a member of the occult. I have always been a witch since I can remember, and I will always speak my mind and say, I will say one thing on behalf of all witches everywhere. There's no such thing on behalf of all witches everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
because we don't agree on shit ever. None
No,
of
we
us
don't.
do.
We don't. We don't. And I
But
mean, that's fine
we
though. There's
do
nothing
agree
wrong with
that
that.
you don't that you have to work towards being a better person. Like, that's the thing.
Yep.
Even Satanism, your still goal is being a better you. That's a better person.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know, and it's just like when it comes to like Melinda and, you know, what she does and how she does things, it's
Yeah.
pure fear mongering. Every single one of her videos is hate this about this person. This person is a Satanist, and that's her go-to. Like, this person is a Satanist, right? And like,
She's a light
honestly,
warrior, remember?
oh yeah, yeah, of course. Like, anyone in the pagan community that is actually a part of the pagan community that I know has no problem with Satanists whatsoever, and Satanists have no problem with people in the pagan, the occult community, because at the end of the day, a Satanist is a member of the occult community, whether they are atheistic or theistic. Point. Done. Right? If you do a fucking ritual, regardless of the reason you do that ritual, even if it's just to get your, you know, to get your mojo flowing, you know, for shits and giggles, you're still doing a fucking ritual. You're a member of the occult, right? Like, I mean, that's in my opinion, it's that simple, right?
Yep.
It's that simple, and you know, for her to claim, and yes, I'm going to say claim because I don't believe for a single second that she's a witch on any level outside of saying that she is. Um, you know, she has a pure Christian perspective. You know, just a pure Christian perspective on everything. And she acts like a Christian with the label of a witch. And it's disgusting to me. It's absolutely revolting. And, you know, all the power to her and her success. But I hope you know, people like myself continue to expose the hypocrisy that exists in everything that she does and everyone else like her. You know, it's, you know, it's just kind of disgusting. We had Satanists and Wiccans do rituals together, and there you go, man. Like, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things, you know. I don't want people misrepresenting us, like who we are as a community, right? I don't want people misrepresenting the community. I'm not speaking on behalf of the community, but I speak for myself as a member of it, and in my opinion of what other people are throwing out there. And I think that when we get these evangelical extremists and people like Melinda, which are just the true deceivers. Like, I mean, because that's what it is. Like, at least when
That
it
is-
was
That's
like,
what it is.
yeah, at least when she was like, whatever the fuck her name was before, Last Frontier Medium, you know, like she didn't claim she was a fucking witch, right? Like she basically said, you know, I have Christian values and I'm a medium. And it's like, all right, whatever. But the moment she went over to say Melinda the mystic motherfucking witch, you know, that's a lie. That's deception. That's her trying to pull people in from the occult to get them to, like, Melinda at this point, in my opinion, is a cult. If you read the comment section in her fucking videos, Melinda herself is a cult. Not a cult, a cult.
That's terrifying. But that is how people see her.
They do. I mean, I swear to fucking God, man, if people went to Alaska and she gave them Kool-Aid, they'd fucking drink it. Raise your hand if you got that reference, because if you did, we're friends.
There's a song about it, or two.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, we can go and beat that whole conversation to death, and it's always going to be there because there's always going to be people that do that. But what I find interesting is watching her evolution over time change who the face of Satanism is, so that she can always have the adversary.
Yep.
So in that respect, she makes a lot of sense. That's why it's easy to believe and follow.
Yes, Jeremy. Yeah, no, exactly.
It's disgusting.
Well, and the thing is like, okay, so if politics has taught us anything, the easiest way to unify any group is to have
Common enemy.
A singular common enemy for everyone to focus on. Right? That's what politics teaches us. And when that politic is applied to business, a business model, which is what all these evangelicals do, which is what Melinda is doing, right? What is that business model? We need to have a common enemy. People are going to follow me because I can identify the enemy, and everyone hates this enemy equally as much as I do. And when your enemy is Satanism or a Satanist, right, or Satan or the devil, right, because she, even as a witch, I'm sorry, okay, I am 37 years old. I have never, ever heard a witch, a true witch, say that they believe in the devil. It is one of the first things that get thrown out the fucking door when you go over that line. And Melinda talks about the devil and demons and all that stuff just like any evangelical would.
Yep. Because that's what she is.
Exactly. She's an evangelical Christian, labeling herself a witch. Fun times.
Very depressing.
It is. But I mean, that's what the focus, that's what the fear mongering is about. And on all levels of this, right? Not just Melinda, like across the board. Christianity, Catholicism, you know, all of these, you know, Abrahamic, like Judeo-Christian, you know, religions, the focus is fear and guilt, right? It's fear and guilt, right? I mean, for example, in Christianity or Catholicism, for the most part, you are to feel guilty for having impure thoughts, right? Simply having a thought about doing something that's impure, right? Some type of sexual activity with someone. You are to feel guilty for that. It's ingrained in the fucking belief system. It's ingrained into it. Guilt and fear is ingrained in the process.
Yep.
You know, you look at somebody, you find them attractive, and you start to imagine what they look like naked. Oh shit! I've sinned again. I've sinned again. You know, I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible person. No, you're not. That is a natural thing that happens.
I need this external thing to give me salvation.
Exactly. And
left hand path, right hand path.
exactly. All of these things are ingrained in the right-hand path, what's considered the right-hand path. This guilt is ingrained into it. And what the left-hand path teaches us as a philosophy, and this is important to understand, guys, left-hand path is a philosophy. Anyone can be left-hand path, even if you think that the magic that they're practicing isn't. They could be an atheist and believe in nothing but themselves and still be left-hand path. Left-hand path is a philosophy, okay? And it is a philosophy of understanding and taking care of oneself, because the base idea here is you can't take care of anyone if you can't take care of yourself. So you have to come first, because if you're okay, those that you love and you care about around you, they are okay. And that's breaking it down to an oversimplification. It's significantly more complicated than that. But the basics of it is that right there. Make sure you're okay before you're trying to save the fucking world. Because if you can't save yourself, you sure as hell aren't going to be able to save anyone else. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And the problem with these people is it's that self-righteous, right-wing, bullshit, right? Like, I don't have a problem with anyone's politics. I'm probably on more of the conservative side of things than most people. But this concept, exactly, savior complex. There's this whole idea that, you need to think about everyone else around you before you could even begin to have a fragment of a thought about yourself. It's like, huh? Elvin Gray, thank you for the $2.99. Greatly appreciate it. And that thumbs up. Thank you. So it's just, I don't know. Like, it bothers me. Like, because I see maybe we've talked about this before in the past, but maybe it's because I surround myself with it too much, and I think I believe it's more prominent than it actually is because of how much I surround myself with it, trying to understand what's going on all sides. But seeing the things that happen, the bombing at TST, the fire at TST, the destruction of the guide stones, and the support that it got from the governor of the state that it was in, or the potential governor. She wasn't the governor yet. She was running to be the governor. Got political support. That ex-senator that destroyed, the TST, religious, what is it? What's the name? What's the specific word for what it is? Display? Yeah, display, right?
Yeah.
Their display for the holidays, right? And got ridiculous amounts of money for his legal team on GoFundMe. All of these are massive comments to say that these types of actions are okay. And then when you go on the YouTube and you see a bunch of people talking about going to war and hate this person and hate this thing, I don't want anybody to hate on Melinda. I can't fucking stand her, but that's just me, right? I don't want my opinion to change somebody else's ideas. I want them to come to the conclusion themselves. And if my words help coming to that conclusion, fine. But don't do it because of me. But when you see all of this hate, all this vitriol towards the occult community, and we're not a big community, guys. Like, you're not that big. Like, there's more and more of us every day, but we're not that big. And when you get people like Melinda that claim to be a witch and spew pure falsehoods, lies, and fear with every time she opens her mouth, it's fucking horrible, man. It's sad, it's disgusting, and it's scary. It's scary. It's absolutely terrifying. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm a public figure. I'm a public figure on the basis that I put myself out there. People know my face. They know my voice. Mystic is a public figure. He puts his face out there, right? We both work, in places where, I mean, maybe not you, but I know me, like places where, you know, if this became a focus, you know, it would be a problem for the company,
It would be if it became a focus. Sure.
you know. And so seeing what these people are willing to do, the same people that bitch and complain about cancel culture, right? I mean, I don't like cancel culture, don't get me wrong, but these are the same people that bitch and complain about cancel culture and people getting canceled for saying what they believe is the truth are more than willing to destroy your life because you worship a different invisible man than they do.
Yep. There's nothing else to say on that one.
Sad world. Thanks for the 666. Christianity is full of hypocrisy and huge contradictions. It is. And unfortunately, Abrahamic faith and Judeo-Christian values and all of these things are hardwired into our society, right? They're like our spiritual beliefs across the board, like even inside the occult, unfortunately have so much intertwine with, you know, Christian mythology that it's disgusting. When the reality of it is they stole from us. The original us, like thousands of years ago, they stole from us. They killed our people. They destroyed our books. They destroyed our literature. They killed our children.
Yep.
Okay? They killed our great, 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 great grandfathers and grandmothers. They killed them. They destroyed them. They burned them. They drowned them. They beat them. They raped them. They did all of these things. Maybe not the Christians today, the people themselves. And I'm not talking about the individuals. I'm talking about the organization. I've always said this and I will maintain this. I don't have a problem with Christians. My issue is with Christianity and the Catholic Church. That's where my issue lies, not with the people that are Christians. I don't have an issue there. It's kind of what Mystic says jokingly. It's okay to be wrong.
I'm never.
Right, exactly. You know, and so the thing is what really gets my goat on this shit is everything inside of Christianity, the rituals that they do in their churches every Sunday came from us. Their architecture, their imagery, their saints, their God, their Jesus, their Holy Ghost came from us. Not the other way around. They took it from us, which is one of the biggest reasons why, as occultists, as pagans, we refuse, like unapologetically and violently refuse to include or to incorporate any Christian ideals into our practices. Because we know where their shit came from, and giving them any validity is telling them that it's okay that they did what they did.
And people that are in control do believe that it is okay that they did what they did, and they do what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
When the true end all be all of all of this is every single person has to be independently aware and responsible for whatever it is they believe.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
It says I don't. And there's no answer. You can't. It's one of those things where it's like Schrodinger's cat. You can't win. It is and isn't there at all the time. There's no answer to it because there's just. I mean, there's shitty people in the occult. There's good people in Christianity.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen them. Don't know where they're hiding, but they're. And I know they're there.
Mark 5.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But again, with Mark, it's more of a.
Mark's the exception, not the rule.
A different.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different flavor of Christianity too. It's not our westernized evangelical,
Oh,
bullshit.
his people though, like he's said, we've had conversation in the past, and he said that he's told his people that he has open dialogue and conversation with Satanists and demonolatrists, and though they're like, do what you feel like you got to do, they're still not happy about it.
Of course not. You don't understand it. That's a human thing, not a belief thing. Because human beings,
I will
you don't
will
like
never
things that you
understand
don't
it.
know.
I have no problem, like Mark 5, right? I misjudged him out the gate, and he was very respectful. He was very calm. Mark 5 is a wonderful person. He's Eastern Orthodox Christian. And you know, I consider him a friend, and we've had great conversations over the years. And the thing that I don't understand is, how is it that, knowing everything that we know and everything that we just agreed upon, everything that they've done, the organizations, that we can put all of that to the side and say, you as a Christian, you as a Catholic, I will not judge you for the sins of your organization, because you had no hand in what your organization did. And I am more than open to sit here and be your friend, have a conversation with you, share a few drinks, and break bread with you as an ally. We have no issue with that. But most Christians, most Catholics, if you were to open up to them and say, I am pagan, I am this, they refuse to have any association with you at all.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much of that is the same, because when we say Christian, there's so many different, groups that it's. I get where you're coming from, and I get the organizational thing, and I get the individual thing, and I get all of that, and I agree with it for the most part. But there are probably as many niche, however you want to say it, tracking back to other conversations, people that believe in a Christian pathway, but are not part of that organization, right?
True.
So of course, and I know you know that, it's not a secret. So it's really the same thing. It's the political machine of religion is what is failing people.
Yep.
And
I agree.
Somebody like Melinda is in that political machine because she is sucked into the grow my confidence by putting others down, and by this is, I mean, it's all a popularity contest. That's the truth of the matter. It's who's the most popular. Christians want to be the most popular, so they're going to do whatever it takes. There's that organization,
Yeah. And Slim Lewis, thank you very much for that $5. Says the greatest truths are within, hidden. Parentheses, cult equals secret knowledge.
Everybody is responsible for finding their own occult knowledge.
Exactly.
It's the same as when we talk about books. Books are great. I like to read. I read tons of books, even books I don't agree with. But they're not hidden. The hidden part is what I do with that information within myself at that point and learn from that piece. That's the occult knowledge.
So, with the Catholic Church, kind of rolling into that a little bit more, the Catholic Church has confirmed that they have, occult manuscripts in the basement, of the Vatican. And, the Catholic priests have justified it by saying that, the Vatican is acting like our parent, in the sense that if you are, if you know that, your child were to get his hands on something and that would hurt them, would you let them do it? And that is the reason why the Catholic Church and the Vatican keep these manuscripts, these grimoires, in their basement, hidden away from the world. So even though the Catholic Church and the Vatican are not openly going out and, murdering pagans, or occultists, in the field of battle, they are still hurting us. They are still, to this day, hurting us, and have been hurting us ever since their foundation. Because they refuse to give us what is ours. And, that is... I don't know the words to say. For me personally, this is my personal opinion. This does not reflect on Mystic. This does not reflect on the channel. This is my own personal opinion. To hold that kind of information, to openly say, yes, we own these grimoires. We have these ancient documents from the ancient pagan cultures, the ancient occult cultures, of the past, and we refuse to give them to us. To me, that is reason enough to essentially excuse me for the the metaphor here, but the storm the gates of Normandy, because it belongs to us. It does not belong to them. They have no right to hold on to it. Now, there's nothing that we can do about it. That's just my personal feeling. And hopefully one day, that documentation does get released and we are able to actually see what our ancestors said about our practices and how they practiced what we understand at this point. Because understanding the past helps us make sure that the future is more fruitful, right? Like on all levels, on the good and the bad, right? If you ignore or you forget the past, we are doomed to repeat it. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because we look at it either way. If you forget about the bad shit, we're doomed to repeat the bad shit. If you forget about the good shit, we're going to keep repeating everything that we're doing until we get to that good shit again, but we're never going to know at what level, where are we? Hashtag storm the Vatican basement. Hell yeah, tree sap.
Can you imagine?
Oh, dude, dude, I would have to at least have a year pass, man. I'd have to be down there for a year.
Have to peel us out.
Exactly. No, I mean, because the thing is the one thing I do have to give them credit for, because I've seen it with the public spaces that they have in the Vatican, like, as they do show some of the basement, like the old scriptures, like they have them in the correct rooms to keep the books away from like oxygen and shit like that, so they don't decay, right? So, like, I mean, they keep the shit in good order.
That sounds very satanic.
Right?
That's witchcraft.
It is. It's science. So, I mean, they've got paintings down there. Like there's the new section, which is like the library section. And then they have like the cathedral section, which is just like old brick and paintings and shit. And apparently they have like old paintings of like Lucifer and stuff like that the Vatican never approved for public display. So it's just crazy shit. Anyway,
Can't imagine what's in there.
Right? We should do some research and do a show on it. Talk about what might be down there. Anyway, everyone, thank you all so very much for the super chats and for your interaction. Scarlett, welcome, hello.
Scarlett!
So sorry that you're catching us at the ass end of the show. But all of you are fucking amazing. Love your fucking faces, and we will see you in the next one. As always, hail thy fucking self. Peace the fuck out.